Good morning, guys. I just want to give you a quick preface to this video because, long story short, I just wanted to show how much things can change in just a few minutes when you're out on the water. What a crazy morning this ended up being. Check it out.
Good morning, folks. It is Nick Mulbauer here. Give me one moment to get my rod situated so it doesn't pop off my kayak. And we'll talk about this catfish here. Look at that guy. He smashed that lure. Alright, folks, I finally got this catfish unstuck, and that's what I got going for me. Fluke swim bait from Zoom, and here we go. Probably not the last channel cat I'm going to catch this morning. Chunker. We're going to get this fish back. He's ready. Long overdue. Look at that. Those are probably all catfish, guys. Probably a mixed bag of everything. I've been out of state for the last couple days, but what I had heard is Ames got a downpour. And right there, the river connects to this pit, and what that does every fall is I think that oxygenates this quarry, and it gets the fish on this flat just absolutely sparked up. This morning I came from the other side of the river and I rode in here, and I think I may have actually snagged a catfish by accident for a second, and it sent a domino effect across that flat there. And there was just an explosion. It was probably 100, 200 catfish just went in every direction, and they just went off. I can almost guarantee you that there are several hundred catfish in this small area right now. The river comes up just the smallest amount in the fall, and all the fish just stack up over here. It doesn't mean they're easy to catch, but I feel like every single fish in this entire body of water just comes over here. And I took a picture of my down inside imaging earlier, and there were so many fish, literally thousands of fish on this flat. It's insane. And that's kind of why I'm over here. I heard that we got rain, and I was like, I'm gonna fish this pit. I know that fish stack over here this time of year, and it just kind of makes it a free-for-all. If you get a good rain, you don't know what you're gonna catch. I was kind of expecting a catfish to bite, and I'm glad that fish bit in the mouth and it wasn't snagged, because you can snag them too, because they get in here so thick that I could have foul hooked one as well. So I'm glad that one hit it. Definitely smashed it. I could feel the thump of that catfish come through, and it was a good feeling. I knew right away. Drag pulling crate like crazy. Nice big cat on the line. Here comes catfish number 2, guys. Just like I said, they're just stacked up. They're just so stacked. They're just crushing my swim fluke. My word. Do catfish fight? I think catfish are one of the hardest fighting fish there is. Look at this thing. It's just pulling my kayak around. Alright guys, catfish number 2. 2 casts in a row, I think. There we go, guys. Look how beautiful those fish are. I'm not a catfisher. I don't fish for catfish, but catfish angler, whatever you want to call it, but man, do they fight. Catfish fight. Catfish and hybrid striped bass, I think, are the ultimate drag pullers. Look at that beautiful thing. Get that one back. Should we just keep catfishing, guys? I came out here to maybe try some topwater bass fishing, but I did know, given the events, that I might be catching some catfish today. So, as I mentioned earlier, what happened was the river came up. Probably came up quite a bit the other day because I heard there's flash flooding. Like I said, I wasn't around for it, but it came up, and I think it just puts oxygen in this water. This pond is stagnant all summer long. It gets hardly any breeze across it because it's so protected. So I think when we get those fall rains, they just go crazy. The entire food chain comes into this flat, including the catfish. So hopefully I can find some bass too, but man, I will take catfish all day. They are so fun. I don't target them on purpose, but given the conditions and the time of year, I knew that it was a possibility, and here they are. They are stacked up over there. Like I said, it's quiet over there, but if I were to make enough commotion, I'll bet you I would stir up 50 to 100, several hundred catfish would just go crazy. You can see on my down imaging, that's all fish. Down inside imaging, those are just hundreds and hundreds of fish, all different sizes stacked up just off to my left.
So after those two catfish bit, I made the decision to switch gears and actually target some bass like I wanted to with the top water. And I probably could have stayed on those catfish all morning. I probably could have kept throwing that swim fluke in there all morning and probably could have just kept picking up cat after cat. But I switched gears and I decided to throw around the top water. Went around for half hour, nothing. I could see the bass coming up and just shorting it. Like, not even shorting it, they just bump it and nudge it with their nose. Bass, if they want that top water, it's going to be an explosion. It's not going to be a little nudge with their nose. They're going to react on it way harder than that. Went through those same areas with a black and blue jig. Same thing, shorting it. They're just shorting it. They weren't crushing that jig. It was just little pecks. And I was like, God darn, I know there's bass here, but I cannot figure out what they want. My wife texts me and she's like, you gotta come home. I got work that I'm backed up on from the trip, which I knew. So I knew that she was gonna be texting me at some point that morning. I was like, God darn, I got like, maybe 5 minutes because she wanted me home at a certain time. And I was like, well, it's going to take me a half hour just to load up from where I was at. I had to kayak across the lake. I had to get it across the river. I had to carry all my gear to my car, which was a long walk. I was like, I only got like 5 minutes left of fishing. So what I did was I went over to this little tree. The whole thing is just sitting on that mud flat. And I threw on a Berkley Minnow, a natural colored Berkley Minnow, because what I had noticed as the sun rose was that that water was way clearer than I thought it was going to be. I thought the clarity was only going to be maybe 6 inches, but the sun had finally rose high enough. I could really observe the clarity of that water, and I realized that the water clarity was more in that 1 to 2 foot range. So I was like, man, this water's way clearer than I thought. So I was like, all right, I'm going to switch to that Berkley Minnow natural color. I'm going to go to that tree, pitch into the thickest part of it, and see what happens. Check it out. This is exactly what happened after that.
Alright folks, here's our last bass of the day. Went around this log and pitched into it. Got another one. And we're following the forage today, so there's it is. That's probably the last one of the day, folks. Golly, I wish I could keep fishing. I think I might be fishing them out. Look at that. Probably a pile of bass. Right when you gotta leave, right, guys? That are a bunch of crappie here in there. There's another one. Another good one. Another big one. That's a big one. That's a big one. Ah. There we go, guys. Last 5 minutes on the Berkley Minnow. Piled up on this tree. Look at that, guys. It's probably a 5-pounder. Look at that. What can 5 minutes do for you folks? Look at that. That's what I'm talking about, guys. That is what I'm talking about. Should I go home or give it another 5 minutes? That's the question. Shad are all up on this mud flat, and so are the bass. Man, going home is unfortunate sometimes, huh, guys? It's about the best damage I could have done having to go home soon.
You know, guys, upon review of the footage, the only thing I can think of is I needed that last fish the other day. That last big fish just completely turned around my day. Because up until that point, I was just having fish come up to my bait or just nipping at it. I didn't get any good hard smashes. I didn't even set the hook on any fish. They were just kind of just bumping it with their noses, like I said. So it just felt really good to get that last fish. I don't know if it was divine intervention or what, but that fish just turned around the day. I could have been sulking, but I went home feeling just over the moon. I was so happy. That's crazy how things can just switch. That's one of the great joys of fishing, is how you can have some of the worst days of fishing of your life, and all of a sudden you're just reeling in a personal best, and it just completely changes your day within a split second. Anyways, we're gonna get back out there this weekend. I'm so psyched. Like, I can't wait to get out this weekend. Fall is just changing the moods of the fish. I mean, I'm not saying bite's insane. It's not bad, but it's got the fish moving. It's got them doing different things, and I love change. It's just so exciting. You know, it's more unpredictable. I love that. I really enjoy when fishing becomes unpredictable. There's a chance that some cool things can happen when there's change. So we're gonna get out this weekend. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I don't know if I'm gonna bass fish or crappie fish, but you know, I think I'm really leaning towards some crappie fishing. I have some cleaning up to do on a body of water. I want to see if these crappie are biting the way I want them to. Or we'll bass fish. I don't know. We'll see. The world is our oyster, and we're gonna go out and get them no matter what. So we got some good fishing up until it ices over, and then we're ice fishing. So it just never ends. It's always fun. And I can't wait to see you guys back on the water. Peace, guys. Have a good one.